Hello, this is Alan White with Active for Passive, where we hope to educate the beginning trader to safely get them involved without losing capital. So the concept of active for passive is actively looking at increasing knowledge, actively looking at risk mitigation, and actively doing analytics, performing analytics to improve your long-term results. So swing trading is a type of trading where you're typically into a position for days, weeks, or possibly months, as opposed to a long-term or position holding investor who is in the market for long-term, or a day trader who is usually in for seconds or minutes during a day. Day traders typically close their positions out at night, open them in the morning. So with that, I wanted to make aware that most traders lose money and most beginner traders lose even more. So this is not an inducement to teach you to trade, and it should be used as reference, as educational and entertainment purposes only. Info does go out of date. That being said, my background and what I am trying to bring to you is to put you in a safer position when you are trading, should you choose to do that. And my experience of over 20 years working for industry firms such as hedge funds, private equity, and asset managers, where they have many tools and teams to help them, keep their funds and their portfolios safe. We are getting more and more capabilities, but key among those is knowledge, which you can, upgrade and maintain yours. With that, I want to give some appreciation to some of our attribution. I'm going to look at a couple of things that were on the monitor for Warrior Trading, Ross Cameron, today. I encourage you to take a look at his YouTube channel. He is on usually every morning, 8:45 to market open around 9:30 Eastern. And he also has classes that will teach momentum day trading. However, I look at those that he has and have successfully in the past found momentum stocks that, if you can position when you go into them, are excellent stocks for swing trading. I do not make recommendations of a specific stock in this channel or a particular time to enter, but I will go through some techniques on what you can do to make your own decisions. There's also some other analysis sites that I recommend. We'll touch on a couple of those today. Investopedia, Seeking Alpha, Finance at Yahoo, and just plain old Google search. So with that, let me jump over to a screen, and here we are at a Google search. So one of the stocks that came up today was SPRT. So you see I've already searched this, so it's going to give some already. And you notice if you look here, it'll say, did you mean? Because it thinks I am wanting to look at sport. No, I don't want to look at sport. I want to look at SPRT. Another trick to researching is if you go to the tools button here, you will see a time. Well, this stock was momentum today, so I really don't care about years past. I want for the past 24 hours. I might even go past hour if I'm intraday looking at something. But if I pull this up, I'll get a few things. So we, first of all, see Investor Place, Market Watch, Business Wire, and we see all these talking. There's my Seeking Alpha that I mentioned that we'll look at in a bit, that talks about what's going on here. And basically this stock, support.com, has a merger. And we'll look at that. I'm going to right click so I don't lose this page. And we'll come in here and see what is that merger news. And we see how we can open up this news. And if you watch many day traders, and certainly Ross will point this out, he is quite often looking for news. What's the reason a stock is making a rapid increase, that momentum? And in fact, when we look at this news, we see that Sport.com is already a stock that's trading. However, this Green Ridge Generation Holding, which does Bitcoin mining, power generation, is looking to merge into that. And it looks down here like the support shareholders will get 8% of the combined company. So 8% of this newly formed merger, which is announced, by the way, it is not complete yet. So a couple of things I would point out to keep in mind. What is 8% of that overall? Also, what is the chance and the risk against this merger actually completing? So those are the kind of things you have to keep in your mind when you're looking to go into something like this momentum. But let's go a little further. And if we look at, actually, I'm going to go right over to alpha, seeking alpha, because I had that open before. So we see here that it is at 739 as of 12:30. So recently. So this is another trading thing, is what you're going to find when you go to analysis. It's going to be delayed by a few minutes, 15, 20 minutes. But again, if you're swing trading, not looking to get in seconds or minutes, you're looking to get in for a longer period of time, it may not bother you that it's, 15, 20 minutes behind. But let's look at what's been happening. So we see the spike. It went from virtually nothing. You can see it was 214, 218. It was hovering in that range. And then today it's went up as high as 911. So I imagine, and did see Ross was making money as it made that rise. Pre-market, so he has tools, so he can actually trade pre-market. That's another thing to keep in mind is, what tools do you have? And that may dictate your strategy in investing, which is why I do swing trading. You can't take advantage of pre-market, or if you can't, swing trading will help from that standpoint. So we're not going to have a lot of history to look back and say, what has this thing done in the past? Because the merger means that you basically have a new company. And if I look at this, I see it came up, it went back down, it spiked back up, and it's sort of staying right here for now. So what I would normally do in a situation like this is start looking at a watch list. So keep track of it and see at what point do I feel like I'm comfortable it's reached a level or a bottom that I want to get into. My personal experience is a half day does not give, me sufficient comfort to say that I'm willing to get into it at 741. That being said, that's by no means a recommendation. If there's something you've researched and you feel strong about the prospects, you may have a different view. And again, by going into starting to look at the numbers, one of the challenges you're going to have with this, though, is it is a private company that's being merged. So your ability to get info will be pretty much limited to support, which you can see that at 8% ownership is not going to give you that much. So with that, I am going to look at the other one that was being looked at today. And that one is DYRT. And let's see what we see on this one. These are the two that Ross was trading today. And let me see if I have that right. I do not have that right. Hence why it didn't come up. DYAI would do much better. Okay, now this one separately. Let's see if we can get the chart up. This one news is that has a COVID-19 vaccine partnership that targets variants. So if you're looking at social signals, market signals, and fundamental, it's more about what do you think is the long-term potential of a particular position you're looking to take. And by position here, I mean actually investing into a specific stock. Back over here to the summary. Now here we see we have history. We can go back 5 years, which my point is companies change over time, so a 5-year view really doesn't tell you a lot. Let's start going down to 6 months. We see that it has been, trending down. Let's look at a month, and we see that it seemed to be making lows of around between 450 and 5. Let's look at the last 5 days, and we get to our spike here, but it sort of hit a low here around 471. So this is an existing company with news of where things are going to go. So the question I would ask you is, what is your feeling of these variants and how much danger do they pose? And that relates back to the value of what this may have. And again, assuming everything works out. So there's always going to be the risk of there's the best thing you could hope for. Quite often that doesn't happen. There's your worst fears. Hopefully that never happens. Where can you position yourself in the middle where that you feel comfortable? And the other thing I would point is, just because this went way up today doesn't mean I need to make a move right now. Part of swing trading is to look at the signals that you have and when is an entry point. So again, a half day to me doesn't give me the confidence level personally that I'm ready to jump on this right now today. Again, I don't recommend any particular stock or an entry or exit point. However, I will advise that you can start looking for the stocks that have opportunities and then figure out what is the best within a risk parameter you're willing to deal with of how much you want to invest and how far your entry point should be from where you think your exit is. And to talk about that risk, you really should you should look at when you go in, where is your position to coming out? We'll talk more about that at another time. But nonetheless, this would go on my watch list as well, because if it had momentum today, it may have momentum another day. So I like to look at it and monitor it. Signals, you will find you have many, many signals. You likely don't have nearly the capital to cover all the signals that seem like great ideas. So from the signals you get, it is your challenge to start doing research and to determine why one over another and when should you enter. So that is a matter of taking those signals and putting them through some analytics and doing your own research, as we had pointed out before, which can start with as easy as, and I'll demonstrate this again, going to Google, and we'll look up this news today. And it comes up and look, it wants to tell us about Dubai. We don't really want to know about Dubai. This is the news we want. So I'm going to go to tools here and make sure that I am on the past 24 hours. I am. And then from this, we can start to look at more info on it. So if we wanted to look to that point at deeper info on this, so Yahoo Finance is a good example. I still have support up here, SPRT, but it starts to give us a lot of detail. And this is, not a complete charting capability. There's other charting you could do if you want to do technical analysis. But nonetheless, it'll start giving you ideas of what its market cap is, where it has been in its range. You could do a 52-week range, and you can start to get more info. And there's other sites you can go deeper to start to say, okay, I have maybe 5 stocks that are signals that I'm interested to, pull the trigger and take a position in one. Which one do I pick? And that quite often is the challenge of starting to look at all the signals you have, all that input, and picking the one that you think has the best potential. And then that potential is a risk management strategy of looking at when do you want to get in, when do you want to get out, how much capital would you risk, what percentage of your portfolio. You don't want a high percentage of a portfolio on one particular stock in most instances. So with that, I am going to close it out and say thanks for taking the time. Hopefully this has been helpful. We will continue to look at some individual signals and get ways to look at analytics and ways to mitigate risk as we go along. And hopefully it will make you a more knowledgeable, more capable trader. So again, as a beginning trader, I highly recommend that you take the opportunity to be in a situation where you do have the chance to learn without your real capital. And to recap, that's paper trading. And if you go to Investopedia, you can not only paper trade, but you can join competitions. So you can see what others are doing. You can look at a history on someone and it'll show you the history of trades they made, so that you can start getting more knowledgeable. And again, active to passive is about taking actions today so that in the future, we can all have more passive income. So we do that by using signals, market analytics, risk management to enhance trading results. And again, this is no inducement to trade, but I hope it will be help you increase your knowledge and help you to do better. So if you enjoyed this, please like and follow and suggest any other things that you want to see in the future. And we will start from a beginner trader. And as we go along, there'll be other strategies as more sophistication is, has been obtained. Thank you. Have a great day.